week, depending on your pay cycle. Safeguarding funds and making sure that the business is a going concern, i.e., your business can continue to operate for the long foreseeable future. Again, delegation and accountability. One of the responsibilities that we see which lacks with most of our businesses. You are the single point of failure or success for your business. You do not delegate. If you are not there, your business does not move. Sounds familiar? Yeah, I see someone is listening. And essentially, for you to be responsible, what do you need to actually implement, or what are some of the key things that we always try to put emphasis on? And essentially, here I'm just going to hammer on systems, processes, and procedures. You need to make sure that you actually have systems in place. To those of you who have the wonderful book in front of you that was written by Wimbai, if you open page 61, there's a wonderful quote in that book. Yes, I've read it today, and I've seen that quote about systems on page 61. So please make sure you read that book, and I agree with that. And yes, it's page 61. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure if you're selling the copies or giving them away, but please make sure you do get one and read that. You need to make sure that you have adequate systems within your organization. There's a lot of benefits that systems bring: efficiency, real-time information, compliance. You need to make sure you understand or you maintain clear processes within your organization. Now, when you talk of processes, it's effectively how are things done? And this is where your procedures come into play. If it's not you and it's John who's doing the work, is it done to the same quality? I.e., think McDonald's. You have never had a Happy Meal from Newcastle that tastes different to a Happy Meal in Bournemouth. It all tastes the same. And why is that? Why can't your business run like that? Staff already know if it's X who's done the rota, it's perfect this week. If it's done by Y, hey, people know. They know. Why? Why is that the place? Do you have the systems in place? Do you have the processes in place? And you have the procedures that if you give a junior, they can follow those procedures in order to replicate that process that you have. This does not only extend to accounting, it's also to HR, yeah, and to everything else that you do. Even winning tenders and bidding tenders. Do you have a process? Do you have a system for that? Or essentially it's whatever comes your way, then you jump on it. Now, having said that, the HMRC recently published the annual report for the 24-25. And I just wanted to highlight some key figures to you, because I think as Godfrey always says, our people don't like to read, but I know you guys like to read, so I'll spell them out for you. So you can see essentially 48 billion secured through enforcement and compliance work. This was a record high. They resolved 96.7 billion in tax debt in 24-25. The total tax collected, I'm sure you can see that. Why am I bringing this to your attention? We owe HMRC a lot of money. And I'm sure you know Rachel is looking for money, yeah? Unless you voted Labour, that's why you didn't answer. Huh? Exactly. We know they're looking for money and they're coming to knock. If they've visited you, please don't raise your hand up, but they do come. And when they come, the process is not nice. I'm not sure what's happening in the mic. I'm hearing some feedback. 1, 2. Thank you. They do come and they're coming for their money. And essentially, you are started or you're running your business, and yet there is a responsibility that you're neglecting that will or can impact how your business is going to be operating. Now, why are they doing this? So essentially, they're focusing on the tax gap. Like I said, Rachel is after money and they're coming for their money. They've invested a lot into AI and people who are essentially responsible for following up this debt. Now, this is why I asked on the questionnaire that we did, are you up to date with your HMRC liability, especially PAYE? The reason why PAYE is so important is because it's not your money. I'll say that again slowly so that you understand. PAYE is not your money. You're withholding that money from your employees and you're meant to pass it on to HMRC. Yeah? Now you're withholding money from employees and then you're using that money to buy I think it's the new Range Rovers and or Land Rover, the Defenders. Yeah, exactly, you know. And you're doing that. So for that, they don't take it lightly. And what we also see on that is your director's loan account is always overdrawn if that's the case. So you have withdrawn or withheld money from HMRC. You have used that money for personal gain, i.e., director's loan, and I might get started again. And effectively, it's one of those things where when they come, they want their money. And when they come, what does that process look like? And essentially, this is what I just want to zone in for the last 5 minutes before I sit down. Essentially, what triggers HMRC inspection? If you're late filing and paying your dues. So if you're late filing your RTIs month on month, if you're not making payments on time, be it corporation tax, VAT, and pay AYE liabilities. Financial discrepancies. This year you had, excuse me, 20 employees with a loss of $500,000. Next year you're going to have 200 employees with a profit of 1,000. They pick up those things. Those anomalies. They're picked up and they'll come and they'll inspect. And when they come, lo and behold, you don't have any systems or processes